welcome back to Tactics Talk with Guido. I've got a replay sent in here from Nonamandus and his AT-15 Tier 8 British TD, casemate TD. It's got pretty good azimuth on its shots, but it's extremely slow. He's in a 357 with a little artillery, and this is a pretty good setup for him. His team has spawned over on the west side on Sand River. I have a two-pack. First one's a loss, next one's a win. And a couple interesting things happen in these games. We'll discuss them as we go. But right off the bat, dealing with a casemate TD, Nonamandus is asking me if he had the right amount of aggressiveness on these two. And he gave me a pretty good sampling of a win and a loss. So let's start with the loss. We'll take a look at it. Right off the bat with a casemate, it's all about positioning. I have to figure out a way on every map to get my gun into the game, even if I'm in a TD or a casemate TD. On Sand River, there are very often TDs camping right at cap because the caps seem to provide a large field of fire, which is only true at the end of the game when the enemy's pushing your cap and the rest of your guys are dead, or they win a flank and are pushing on the cap. Either way, you probably haven't taken any shots yet. So Nonamandus has been listening, and he is trying to get his gun in the game. He said, I moved up as a support TD. The meta on this map is interesting. It seems to have changed a little bit. There seems to always be a brawl down here with all the heavy tanks. So the heavy tanks and the players who are not that good, who don't like being shot from multiple directions, will often go down here, and that's not what I'm saying. Nonamandus is, I'm just saying, you will often find these days heavies down here, and you can see that quite a brawl has developed. In fact, there's a T-34-1 over here, and eventually we'll have the low. So Nonamandus is sitting here, and he is taking some shots and attempting to work on these guys. Nonamandus, look at your tumor on the right side right there. What I would do is I would tuck a little bit to the right of this piece of ground right here and try to cover up that tumor as much as possible, and then use that great azimuth to do what you're doing right there and just sort of peek around. And it looks like that's what you're going to eventually do. That's a nice job right there. And now we're just sniping the tops. It looks like that KV-2 wants to look at you. Must be trying to reload. Thank goodness he didn't. Oh, no, maybe he's going to shoot. He missed. Alrighty. That works, and we're just sniping the top. Now, they do have an artillery, so you are sort of asking for it. Eventually he will pay attention to you. But these are all nice shots. Support TD, hanging out in the back. This is what's known as second line fighting. Second line fighting is not sitting back on the cap. Unfortunately that missed. We're sitting so far back that you can't really be effective unless they come around the corner. He's positioned himself at a point right here where he can no kidding get shots. And if things started to change, he may have to move up. But for the moment, he's getting all kinds of great shots on these guys. Man, that must have been a little frustrating. A couple missed shots. There was all kinds of targets, but you just couldn't quite get in there. Pop him again. Nice job on that. The lows moved up. Hey, there's our artillery friend. Go ahead and shoot anyway. Even with a little bit of stun, this gun is so accurate, you can do some pretty good work. I liked this right here. You caught that IS-3 trying to move up. Nicely done. I might have stayed there. The T-20, is he getting away? Yeah, I guess he's getting away. And you got a 34-1 up top and a low, so now you're going to go ahead and push up. I think this is the right decision right now. Still doing the support thing, but guess what? You don't have any more frontliners other than the low and the 34-1. So we need to get up here and see if we can save this low. See the TD making a run for it. Shot right there. Nicely done. He's trying to back out. Oh, dang it, that didn't work. And let's see if we can get in here and take care of this Leo. Maybe the low will take care of him. And we continue to move up. There goes Leo. Okay, stop. Now, take a look at the map. And knowing what you know now, and then the rest of you who are watching this, where are the enemy tanks? Where is Nonamandus? And where could he go from here? Remember, they've got an arty. The arty knows he's down here. They all know he's down here. He has no more friends up front. This thing's worst enemy is getting surrounded. So let's see what Nonamandus decides to do. The low actually pulls back into the town. We're going to move up this way. And we're pressing in because, by golly, we are on the attack. And then Nonamandus probably thinks better of that and starts to back up. So You've thought about it for a minute. You moved in. You started to back up. Nonamandus, I would have, once those guys were dead and you got that low, got the Leo out, I would have started backing out of this. You just don't have the power to push them right now. There's too many TDs and crap up around here, sitting up near their cap or back in the back. You're about to get flanked in the side, which is your worst enemy. You do have the low and the Hellcat, but if they go down, here they come. See this ramp back up there? I can't really show it to you, but there's a ramp on the other side where this E25 is, where you can come up. Right now, what you need is lines of fire, and you're not going to get it out of a pit. When you go down here and fight in this little pit down here, I would look for the earliest opportunity that makes sense to get out of this pit and start looking for other lanes of fire, especially if there's nobody down here for you to fight. And this is that get your gun in the game point. We're just sort of peeking and poking and not really sure, and oh crap, there goes the low. So had you gone up that hill, you might have been up there about right now and probably have shots into that Super Pershing, or maybe even see the 34-2 GFT or even the Challenger. But now we're on the defensive, aren't we? We've got the backup. Once I saw that Super Pershing on the minimap, I'd have been looking this way to see where on earth he is in relation to me. And I think you get to that in a moment. Yep, there you go. And now we're backing up. There's the ramp I was talking about. The E25's there. I'd stop right there. You eventually do it, but you're late. As soon as I saw that icon moving that fast, because that guy was really just coming after that E25, I'd have stopped a few potatoes ago. I'd have aimed in right about here, so that right when he came, I'd have whacked him immediately. And it's going to take a little while for you to get a shot on him. Oh, there we go. Now we got him. Nice job. You go for the track. I think he fixes it. Oh, but we still get it in there. And unfortunately, he actually survives that. Go after the top hatch. Careful, the right one's the better one, I believe. Nope, actually you're right. You're going after the right one. The correct one. The left one is the right one. Oh no, that stupid thing lived, and now we're just dealing with multiple axes. This is another example of where I would have probably stopped and zoomed in on this guy, because he's a coming, and actually you got a problem because the KV-2 is in the way. But maybe move up to where the KV-2 is not in the way. Ouch, there goes the artillery. Yep, and now you got this guy, and you might have been ready for him. So about right there, I'd stopped where you were around the side of the KV-2. That's a lot of hindsight, but he was coming with a purpose, so it looked like he really wanted to get in there, and this is a nice job. I'm gonna pop him through the fence. Well done. And now you got to know they're coming at you. So it would be really nice if you had that high ground up there, if you could have maybe gone up and over, although that super would have been hitting the side. But at least you wouldn't be fighting out of this hole right here, which becomes your downfall, really. You had a T-20 camping on the cap. All right, so that guy died, and it looks like you are now trying to get up and out, but the problem is it looks like these guys, or this guy at least, is coming in behind you, and that's a problem. Holy cow, there's the T-20. End up finding him, whack him, nicely done. Wiggle around a little bit, well done. Oh, geez, here we go again with the hit. Track in damage. Hit again, ouch, ammo rack. And we're trying to decide what on earth is going on, and then here comes the rain. Bam. And we're done. So nice job, man. 2,900 damage. You got your gun in the game. I thought you were appropriately aggressive. I thought you had a chance to maybe get up on that high ground and change the fight a little bit, do something different. I would even say go so far as maybe just back all the way out. And it may have been once that scrum was done and you weren't in a position to push with that low, maybe just back out enough to where you're not seeing, spin around, and just get back to your cap and defend from your cap. That would have been a secondary option. But I would have liked to have seen you try to get up here and change this fight earlier so you're not down in a pit. And this is exactly why this pit is so bad. If your team does lose all the flanks, you don't have a whole lot of options. All right, let's go to the loss, or to the win, sorry, and take a look at that. All right, here we are on Proc, and we have spawned in the south spawn. He's headed over to the 1-2 line on the west side. Now, Nonamandus, one thing you can do with the slower TDs is accept this position for a few potatoes, spin around and see if you can't snipe a couple of those guys. It's a decision between, do I want to get right to my initial position earlier, or do I want to try to take a couple snapshots at scouts? They're going to be low percentage shots. I'm not saying it's the absolute correct idea, but there is an option to do that right there. But you're going to keep on trucking. He's in a 357, so top tier, good setup. But he has to deal with an artillery, so getting spotted isn't going to help him much. Didn't mention it last time, but he's running without 6 cents, I believe. And we're going to move up right here. 1357 is in here. We've got a Cheeto and a 1375 from the enemy team hanging out on the ridge there. A T-20 has been spotted, and he has quite a few guys headed up to the hill, and only one M4A1 Revelori thing in the middle. Now this is not a really great setup as far as a deployment goes. I would say Nonamandus is absolutely in the right spot, or one of the right spots. But you've got a scout, okay, he's bushed up, and then we've got a medium hanging out here and a heavy. And we're really being a bit passive. The good news for their team is that this T-20 is a complete buffoon, and he decides to just zoom on in there. He's curious about how fast he can die, and he's about to find out. Turns out it's about 1 minute and 45 seconds. Cheeto's getting hit, that's good, and now Nona is going to move up to the edge here. I would be careful on this because they do have some sight lines to you poking up around the side. I actually like these lower bushes, but the higher ones up here, being higher on the road, gives you a few more options depending on where they get spotted. Good news is that their scouts and their pokers over there haven't showed any kind of real, what's the word I'm looking for, desire to come up and over and start spotting the 1-2 line. But holy cow, look at all you guys bunched up right here. This is very frustrating to players who try to play this map and use the vision control game. But you just pushing into them is not the right idea. Scout's going to have to do something here pretty soon, and actually it turns out that I believe the 122-44 decides to take matters into his own hands. So there's a Ferdinand and a couple other decent TDs, so those could definitely hurt. That Ferdinand's probably going to butter right through you, especially if he's got any kind of gold. So the 122-44 moves up. You've got all kinds of guys hanging out on the hill. The Rev is still living there on the 5-6 line, so this is not a bad time to start pushing and see what they got. If the Oni and the Ferdinand are here, you might be in trouble, and if they start spotting you, it doesn't look like he is. He's getting hammered. I probably would have pressed 2 right after that first shot. You end up getting a shot in on him there. Might as well just make sure they go through, but he goes away pretty quickly, and then you've got an HT number 6 right there doing his thing. Nope, disappears, and I think you're making the right decision moving up. So all's well. I thought your positioning was good. I liked the aggressiveness. You're moving up. You've got a KV-3, a 122-44, a T-150. Would be nice if the 1357 would get off his rear end and give you some lights up there. And I don't mean by YOLO, but if you could start working around the edges, that would be nice. See what happens. KV-3 comes up, starts pushing this tank. I like that if I'm spotted. If I'm not spotted, I don't particularly like that because they might see the tank moving and then they, of course, know exactly where you are or where your team is. And we're going to push on in. So this gets tricky right here. This is a push that sometimes gets waxed for multiple reasons. It does flatten out right here, and if you get up, messed up. If you get up on this edge, you can take shots from all these guys. You got quite a few tanks sitting over here, to include a pretty good gun on the T-25-2, a hard-hitting gun on the 34-3, even though it's not very accurate, but it still hits hard. And this HT, where on earth did he go? Plus, are there any other TDs back in there? So let's find out what's going on. Now, we have to believe we were spotted by this HT number 6. And that's the first guy we see. You've got some pretty fantastic armor. You've got really good azimuth and really good depression on this thing. I think what I would have done right there is gone right for him because you've got to get rid of him. He can't hang out there and continue to light you because they've got Arty, they've got maybe TDs over here. And while it may expose you a little bit getting rid of that guy, he has to go. So he's just lighting you guys up. Oh, there's a T-25-2 there as well. Holy cow, there's a 34-3. And the Jackson, he's on the other side though. We got guys lit up, and you just keep trucking, man. Nona, I would have definitely, look at all these targets over here. I would have pulled right up to one of these bushes here. Ideally, get rid of the HT number 6, but potentially, if you had to, start blapping these guys and push them back, get them out of your way, and then get that HT number 6. You got a lot of friends right here, but they are getting torn up and spotted by that HT number 6. You kind of ignore them. Now, you have SA that they already just hit you from that direction. And that's always going to be the danger coming up and over that road. you're going to allow the Arty to have some shots. But that's fine. There's a lot of you guys. And there's just so many targets. Those guys have to go away. Look at them. They're all out in the open. All day long you could be eating those guys for lunch. And you kind of drone along here looking for the 155-51. Now, even if you had thought, well, maybe I'll just kind of come around to a different angle, now you could have come up into these bushes right here and really had a heyday, but we're going to keep on trucking. So I'm going to speed this up because this goes on for a while. And we go all the way over here. I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sure why you did this, other than maybe you were looking for the 155-51. And now we're sort of in an open area where we poke up and over. And there's that T-25 too, once again. Holy cow, man, kill him. There we go. He sees you. Finally, we get rid of him. There's the 34-3. But we're taking some hits. And had you been able to nuke that 34-3 and get rid of him while he was out there kind of in that flat area, this little sequence here would not have happened. And you wouldn't be dealing with the 34-3 getting up underneath you and spotting right there. Go back. Doop, there goes the 150. There's still a scout hanging out in those bushes over there. And what was looking like a pretty easy win, they were starting to really get rolled up, is now looking a little more even. Primarily because we didn't dig all of those guys out that were on that flat area right there. What's going to make any positions, enemy positions on this road effective is getting spotted by anyone who's hanging out up underneath here. KV-3 is dopey. He goes out into the open. And so Nonamandus decides to go out in the open. And once again, dude, look at this. Holy cow, he's right there. That 34-3 is right there. So you got to turn and make him go away. And he just fired. But you're spotted. Holy cow, we got guys on every side of me. And definitely would not have gone out into the open right here. Ouch, ouch. Hit from multiple directions. That 34-3 is still alive. Ouch. IKV comes up and over. Ouch. And really, it's just a matter of there's that 34. Get the 34-3, Nonamandus. Come on. There he is. Finally. Oh, jeez. All right. Now we're cooking with fire. E-25's shooting gold at you. Trying to pin your hatch or whatever you can do. Silly artillery was actually up on the thing right there. He dies. All right. So things look like they're under control now. The Oni up on the hill, 1375. Is he still in the bushes right there? I think he is. You're going to find him here momentarily. Oh, there he is. Looks like he's going to make a run for it. Just thinking, oh, I got to get out of here. We'll kill him off. Fantastic. And we'll go full-time speed because the E-25 falls all the way back up to the corner. Team tracks him down. You look for a shot but can't quite get there. And he is done. So arguably, I would say, Nonamandus, on the first one on the loss, you played a little bit better, I would say, overall. This wasn't bad. I think the critical time in this battle would have been for you to come up on this side and just start sweeping this entire backside with fire. Just blasting them. All that armor, they could shoot back at you. Probably were going to have a really hard time penning. Yes, the Arty may have still fired at you. Oh, by the way, he was repositioning for a good portion of that trundle that you did. Kill those guys off so the spotting stops, and then you can start worrying about how you're going to move up across this open area without having multiple tanks hanging out around in the flats right there. But you ended up winning. Nicely done. 1,598, 1,642 on the assist, and a little bit of damage bounce there as well. Well, that's it for the 2-pack from Nonamandus. nice job overall in the aggressiveness. At least you're moving forward, getting your gun in the game, and I think that's the best thing, absolutely, that you can be doing with a TD in this game. All right, guys, I hope you like what you saw. If you did, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for your support. As always, we will see you.